After a 259-day hiatus, the Black Caps finally get to play international cricket again tonight. The first of 3 T20s against the West Indies in Auckland signals the start of a home summer set to feature 17 matches against 4 different nations for the New Zealand team. The break of almost 9 months between Black Caps matches is yet another result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to play its part even as international cricket returns on Kiwi soil. Our very excited sports reporter Clay Wilson is at Eden Park and joins us now. Clay, Auckland's weather, it's not great at the best of times. It can be a little fickle. How are we going tonight?
Kia ora, Lisa. Yeah, Auckland's weather obviously can be pretty moody, and the last week hasn't been great here. The good news is that today has been a beautiful day. The bad news is just in the last half an hour since we've been here at Eden Park, some clouds have closed in. Now, Met Service is forecasting a little sprinkle of rain around 10 o'clock. It looks like that could hold off. There's around 20,000 expected here tonight at Eden Park, and I'm sure for them and those that are going to be watching at home or listening on the radio are hoping that weather will hold off long enough for the game to be completed, which we expect to be around 10 o'clock tonight.
OK, so before we get into the cricket itself, there was a joint announcement from New Zealand and the West Indies teams today, and it related to Black Lives Matter.
Yes, that's right. We learned today that both teams are going to take a knee just before the first ball here tonight. Now, that comes in the context of the West Indies in July playing against England in England, and this came just after the George Floyd death, which of course sparked the Black Lives Matter movement and the fight against racial injustice and social injustice. West Indies took a strong stance there in England, and they've come here, and the New Zealand players are keen to support them. So they've decided that they're going to take a knee for these T20 matches, and the New Zealand captain for this T20 series is Tim Southee, and he was asked today why they've decided to support the West Indies in this cause.
It's obviously close to the West Indies cricket side, and something that we're happy to support along with our own stand with the Give Nothing to Racism campaign for New Zealand human rights. So I think the two go well together, and it's something that as I said, we're willing to support the West Indies in, and I'm sure they are with our campaign of Give Nothing to Racism as well. Yeah, we agreed on that. We'll support the West Indies, and we'll take a knee after the umpires call play. So as I said, it's something that's very important to the West Indies side, and something that we're going to support them with over their tour while they're here.
Now, Tim Southee did note that this was just for these 3 T20 matches. That's because there's 2 Test matches to follow, and both regular New Zealand captain Kane Williamson and the West Indies Test captain Jason Holder, who was at the forefront of the West Indies making that push in July in England, are both not playing this series, and we understand they're going to get together before those Test matches and come up with a plan of how they will continue to support the Black Lives Matter movement throughout that Test series.
OK, well, it's been nearly 9 months since the Black Caps played. That's a long tea break, so what are we expecting from them?
Yeah, it has been a long break, but most of these players, including the West Indies players, a lot of them have been playing in either the Caribbean Premier League or the Indian Premier League, which have been going on. Those that haven't have been playing domestic cricket. Domestic cricket started here in New Zealand around a month ago. So while we expect there may be some rust, a lot of these players should still be in pretty good nick, and we should expect a pretty good quality of game here tonight. So I think for most of the players there will be a little bit of rust, but we'll see that hopefully that the players have had some cricket under their belt, and they will be able to produce a good show for the people here at Eden Park tonight.
So who are the key players going to be? Because it's not all the usual faces, is it?
No, as I touched on there, Kane Williamson isn't playing in this T20 series, and nor is Trent Boult, and they were both in great form in the Indian Premier League, but they've been rested for the 2 Test matches, and that's because there is some significance on the Test matches here this summer, with New Zealand trying to push for a place in the World Test Championship final next year. So they're not going to be here, so the New Zealand team is going to have to look to players like Tim Southee and Mitchell Santner with the ball, Ross Taylor, Martin Gupta with the bat. They're going to be senior figures who are going to need to step forward. Another name to watch is Devon Conway. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Devon Conway in the last 2 years. He just became eligible for New Zealand in August, having come from South Africa a little over 3 years ago. A Wellington batsman. He's been scoring runs for fun down in Wellington, the domestic player of the year for the last 2 seasons. And it's likely he's going to play here tonight, and if he does, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him to see how he makes that step up from the domestic game.
Clay, speaking of a lot of eyes, what was it that was spied on the side of the trophy for the winners of this T20 series?
Yeah, this has got a lot of traction, particularly on social media today. especially for fried chicken lovers. Now, KFC are the main sponsor of this series, and we have engraved on the side of this trophy for this series the Colonel Sanders, who of course is the face of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, this might catch the attention of Ross Taylor, the senior batsman in the Black Caps, are particularly noted as a fan of KFC. It also brought back memories of Kiwi driver Scott McLaughlin, the Supercars champion, a couple of years ago filled up his trophy with chicken nuggets. So I wonder if we'll see the winner of this series go down to KFC and get a bucket of chicken and fill it up to celebrate.
Classy trophy, Clay. Thanks, Clay. That's Clay Wilson from Eden Park there, waiting on the Black Caps versus West Indies, the first of the 3 T20s.